Good afternoon. This is Robert Paltz, and I'm busy trying to take and share a screen. Now I have four monitors, so I have to take and things get complicated sometimes. Okay, now you should be seeing the 2025-05-24 presentation presenting military records to my family. And it's for those that have requested it. And you all know who you are. So anyway, disclaimer. I'm neither a professional or an expert genealogist, just an amateur genealogist that has been doing this since 1992. I'm just like you. I do not delete my errors from the videos most of the time, but show you how I recover. I expect you to be the proofreader in the comments and make suggestions for other ways of accomplishing what I am doing. This is a collaborative effort, so I will learn something also. A big thank you to those that have provided comments in the past. They've been so useful. I've really gotten more efficient in my workflow. I also do videos for those that have responded I go too fast. So they can stop and rewind the video and pause it and so on. I just recently found out that you can take and do YouTube setting that can actually slow down the video. And I've used it a couple times, so I'd recommend that you use it. All views expressed are mine. I am a member of 7 genealogical and historical societies currently, and I'm not representative of any of them. I'm not on any of the boards, and I'm not in any of the staff. I do administer two named Facebook sites, and they're there for you to read. Goal is to fulfill a request I received from 3 fellow amateur genealogists to document my process for building a military presentation as an answer to a family question about my family's involvement in the military and the wars. As I've demonstrated in the meeting, I had demonstrated this in the meeting, and they asked this question. So they can figure out what I did. It was too difficult to do it in the meeting. The example I've chosen is James Ray McDonald, or he's known as Jimmy Ray in most cases. Since I have not entered him yet, so you'll see how I build his entry as we go along. Okay. The format is a modified version of the one presented by Thomas MacEntee. I want to make sure I give him credit for that because he really helped me. His presentation is creating an ancestor sketch. And it was at the Appleton Public Library on the 25th of January, 2025. I highly recommend both Thomas and the genealogy series. Find your ancestor series at the Appleton Public Library. The URLs will be in the documentation that accompanies this. Thomas has many more presentations of this year at various societies, so you might check the URL link that I've given you and see if you can get to one of them. The outline that I've used, now this is modified a bit from his, but it uses all of his recommendations, I think. First off, I do a fan chart and an R-related chart. Then I do an AI summary. Then I do details, and then I do photographs, and I do additional research. That's how I present it in the file. That's not necessarily how I do the order in which I do it when I do it. Okay, family questions. This is how I am future-proofing my research by making it relevant to family members. If it's not relevant to family members, they'll probably toss it when you leave. It'll be a white elephant to them. So here's the questions that I'm seeing. I keep getting asked this. I'm going to put them up here, each one. This is the most difficult one right here, writing my story. I've really been tied up with that for 3 months. Dedicated this month to doing the military records. Where are they? Here they are, down here. So I'm doing the military records. This is May. It's Memorial Day. And I generally do something military oriented in May each year in the way of genealogy. And I've done military research for years. And you're going to see some of it as part of this. Here's some more of the family stories or family questions that they're asking. I'm just going to put these up here so you can see them because I've been asked to take and show these and see what kind of questions my family's asking. Basically, at Thanksgiving, I set them down. We set them down and said, look, the most common genealogy question is, I wish I had asked them this. Well, we're sitting here, we're alive, and you can ask the question right now. What are your family questions? And then they give me an hour, or give us an hour. We took two, one for each of us, to take and respond to the questions. Many of these questions are my wife's questions also, not just mine. What we're going to talk about is one of my wife's family members today. Okay, the video process. I'm going to do this in a series of video segments, then I'm going to integrate it all into one. This is the way that when I take and decide to enhance a specific step or change something, I can take and come into it and do it. It's going to be exceptionally long as it is, so I want to try and keep it down as much as I can. It's going to end up in a disjointed video because I haven't learned how to use VideoPad to take and crop videos yet. It's got it in there, and it's just I haven't had the time to take and go learn it. It's buried in my processes for 2025, and I've made those family questions my primary goal for 2025. Okay, so show the finished product, Harry Beverly Paltz, the family story, James, where I start to show the hard drive. So let's go look at Harry Beverly Paltz Sr. and get this started. Let's see. This is the way. Okay, here's the index to military records that I've written. This is written in HTML and uses, I'll show you how to do it in a minute. Okay, so here's generation. I broke it by generations. And this is David Allen, who's my brother, John Allen, who's my cousin, Melvin Bates, my father-in-law, which uses all it was specifically there. Here's my father. Here's my uncle. Here's my aunt. And here's another uncle. Okay. Now, the one I wanted to show you is Harry Beverly Paltz. So you just click on that. And this is the form that I'm using now. First off, there's a fan chart over here. This is a Roots Magic fan chart. And then there's a relationship to me. The one we're going to do today is going to be related to my wife. So we'll have to take and do that separately. We'll do that separately. All right. Now, the summary is an AI summary. It's written by ChatGPT in this case, I think. And rewrite an engaging prompt. Here it is right here. You need to, anytime you use AI, you need to take and put a source for it. This source is again from Thomas, the way in which he wrote his sources, and I thought it was a good way of writing sources. And so this is what they've done. It goes through, it takes the information out. What information did I feed it for that? I will show you in various steps down here, but this is basically it. And this is a second one. This is a second one. I did this. The first one was on Gemini, and this one is on ChatGPT. So that gives you, you can see, I'm going to leave that there for a second so you can read it, and then go back up here and leave that there for a second. It's probably useful to you. And these are two different AIs summarizing the same file of information and how it came out. And so anyway, that's the summary. Here's the details. These were all input. This is what the details that I had researched. Here's the naval. This is from the Naval History and Heritage Command. This is the USS San Diego. That was one of the ships that my grandfather was on. It was also called the USS California. That's from the Wikipedia. And loss and so on. This is all the information I had about it. And then the Roots Web had some information on it. And list all the people that had died and stuff like that that's on there. So I fed all this into the AI. Now, down at the bottom, or towards the bottom, is photographs. So I collected photographs. Here's a photograph of the ship. Here is my grandfather's honorable discharge. Here is one of the many morning report records. And then I have gone to St. Louis and pulled his records. I didn't do that for everybody. Yet I have 3 or 4 over there right now that are waiting for that I put in December that I'm waiting to see information. Key record part of this record is he was on board the USS San Diego when that vessel was sunk July 19th, 1918. Okay. So of course he survived it because there's more records here. And then here's the other page of that record. This has his whole service record. If you get one of these from the National Archives, it's a load of information. Okay, and you'll notice the formatting is kind of messed up. I'm still working on that. Additional research. In this case, I'm doing the USS San Diego, a couple locations for it, and the USS California, USS San Diego at the Roots website. I will be adding to the possible relocations places. It's my intention to take and get back to this. So anyway, he would go up here. So this is where we need to go and edit. Okay, let's go back to the slides. Okay, next was the family story. Here's more process. And here's the family story. Jimmy Ray McDonald was in the U.S. Navy. He was in the Vietnam conflict. Later, he was involved in the nuclear testing in the Pacific. This is stories that we were handed down. He told us, and other family members told us. He was exposed to radiation unintentionally. When I do my research, that's possibly the USS PATAPSCO, which was an ALG-1. That was a ship that had brought fuel to the bigger ships. And later he was stationed at a Navy Air base in Antarctica. I knew he was there. He sent us gifts from there and cards from there, and we've got letter. We got the newsletter, the 3 copies of the newsletter, different dates on the newsletter from there where he's featured in it. His service dates match Operation Castle, which is in 1954. He went in 1953, so it's possible he was in the Pacific. We know that. And it was the USS this AOG-1, and that was accidentally irradiated in that test. Now, that fits all the records, all the things up here, but his records that we've actually procured from 1953 to have a gap from 1953 to 1960. We have not requested his records from St. Louis. A little bit about the records that we have, and what I'll show you in just a minute, is that we were moving to North Carolina from Oklahoma, and at the same time, Dee's family member, his brother, was moving from Missouri. Missouri's right next to Oklahoma, to Oregon. And they felt that the records would be better served if they stayed in Oklahoma because he's an Oklahoma boy. So they also knew that I had a collection at Oklahoma Historical Society. So they gave me the records to give to the Oklahoma Historical Society, and if I would scan them. So I have scanned them, and then I gave the originals to the Oklahoma Historical Society. And in my notes, it will tell you how to find those records at the Oklahoma Historical Society. There's a separate video on that, and I don't want to get into that. So let's go back to processes. Okay, that's Jimmy Ray. Okay, let me show you the hard drive records. Next thing. Okay, let's go to Jimmy Ray. Okay, here's my server drive. You go down to the genealogy tree. Since he's not my main line, he's my wife's line, you have to find him in the dead file. You'll notice I separate dead and living. That's for me so I don't give out living files to people that ask questions about my family. Okay, and he's 001. What was it? One. What are you, Jimmy Ray? Format Jimmy Ray. Oh, come on. Where did I put it? 00. I should be able to find it. 187. There he is. James Raymond McDonald. Okay, we open that up. And we have this information is the stuff that I've researched on him. Okay. And this information is the stuff I scanned. These 4 documents are Antarctic newsletters. And this is the index to those documents that I did back in 2020. So these will go into this information will go into the detail files, and the ships that he's on and so on will go into the detail portion of the files. So all this stuff is there. There's an example of one of the documents. Okay, now the next step in the presentation is here. Okay, so that was where his hard drive files are, and here's his Zotero files. I've done a lot of research on him lately. So here's the files that have been accepted, because he's close to being there. Here's the ones that have been rejected because they're another James McDonald or James Raymond McDonald. There's a lot of James Raymond McDonalds out there, or a Jimmy Ray. So these are the ones that were rejected. And here are the search locations. Let's just do family search. We'll do that again in a minute. Let's do Bing. I kind of like Bing. So this is what a Bing record looks like. Okay. So that's how he looks in Bing. If you do, and here's the search algorithm. These search algorithms are generated in Roots Magic, and I've been asked to do a video on that, and I haven't done it yet. Okay, so that's what's in the these are the resources I have. So that's that. Let's move on to here. Show adding the military question to the front page. Okay, so we need to put him in there first. So let's go find that's this presentation. More about Caitlin. Caitlin downloads DLD. Okay, let's go back one. Family questions. So here's the question for military. That opens up like this. And you see I have a folder for each generation, just like I have this organized. So you got to open this with LibreOffice. This is where people were getting confused. And I want to go down down to this one. And I am going to put him right here. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Zoom. Everything's right here. So I just do a copy. Come over here. Well, here's that document in Zotero. I'm going to put it right here. Unformatted text. Okay, I'm going to take that number. And put it right here. I'm going to take this number, which is the family search ID, X, put it right there. Okay, then I'm going to take this. Come on. Okay, and I was at Jimmy Ray. Let's go back to Jimmy Ray. Okay, let's go back one. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to say copy path. I'm going to bring it down here. bring it up over here. And that's going to go down below so they can find it. I used to do links for everything, as you saw a while ago. And I put that in there. Now, Jimmy Ray is LV1. Copy that. Go up here to Family Search. I've already found him. I've shown you how to take and find records using that. Well, let's do it anyway. So you know how to find it. You come up here, and normally it comes up there. You got to go over to Find ID. You put it in there. You go like that. This comes up like this. You say person. And you can copy this right here. Copy. And now you come down here to get this and put it right there. And it changed the formatting on me, but I'll straighten all this formatting out. It seems to like Landsurf and I like Arial. Okay, now we need to build Jimmy Ray a folder. So we need to go back to okay, that's question Caitlin. Oh, okay. And we put him in generation 2. Yep. So we need to build a folder there. New folder. Do I still have that information in there? Nope, I got it. So we do go back to Zoom, tree data. Why did it go there? Should go here. There we go. Rename, copy, and come back over here. Where am I? I am building that in this folder here. So, and I cheat a lot. Okay, now open that folder. This is the part that people were having problems with. So come down here and say new, and I just say new open text document. I go V, and that's all it's going to put in there. And I take that document and I open it. Well, it opened up in the other screen. Hold on a minute. Let me get it over there. Okay, now we want to file, and we want to save it as, and we want to save it as an HTML document. And it's got everything there. And except that I want the whole name. Let's save it. Save it there. Close it. Go back to here. Back to here. Okay. That went into downloads, I'll bet you. Yep. Okay. Cut. Bring it over here. Put it in here. Paste. Okay. Now we can get rid of this. Delete. Okay. Now, when we want to edit this, you got to open it with LibreOffice. If you double click on it, it's just going to open it in Chrome because you have now built a HTML document, which would automatically jumps it, in my case, the way mine is set up. Okay. Let's do the first part. I put a lot of carriage returns in here because I want placement. You'll see I have it turned on right there so I can see the carriage returns. Okay, here's Jimmy Ray in Brutes Magic. This is in my composite database up here. Reason for that is instead of the research database is because Jimmy Ray's not in my direct line. He's in my wife's direct line, and she has her own records in their paper. Okay, and we go to publish, and we say fan chart. Oops, that came up over here. Hold on a minute. There we go. Got 4 screens. It's four times the problem. Now, you don't want more than 4 generations. If you do, it's going to be really huge, and it's going to be hard to read when you shrink it down and put it on your document. So 4 seems to be about the right number. So there he is, Jimmy Ray. Here he is right here. Here's his parents. She was a great lady, little short gal, and I thought she was one of my wife's girlfriends when I first met her. Okay, we click on this. This is the snipping tool. We say new. We come over about right here, try and centralize it. And that comes up like that. And we go here. It's going into downloads again. I just say fan chart because I'm going to move that into his folder. Okay. Okay, so that's done. We're through with that one for now. We'll go back down here to the folders. We're up here at the folders. We got to go over to downloads. And we want the fan chart. Cut. And we need to go to the folder that has Jimmy Ray in it and paste it. Now, this fan chart has to coexist with that document. If it doesn't, it won't print out in that document, okay? So we got the fan chart. Now let's go get another chart. Let's go up here. We got Jimmy Ray, and we're logged on to my wife's site, okay? So since that's who he's related to, and you go view relationship. Now I'm going to move that down so you don't see that number too well. Okay, so this is her relationship to Jimmy Ray. And so we do it again. We take this. Where did it go? Come on. Come on. There we go. We come up here. We go across here like this. Okay. We put that. Again, it's going into the thing. And we call this I call it relationship. Save. Go through the same process again. Open this up. Go to downloads. Find that file. Mine's defaults to downloads. Yours may be defaulted to something else. Bring it over here to Jimmy Ray. Okay. Paste. Okay. Now we go back to this document, which is the Jimmy Ray document. See it right here? Jimmy Ray. Okay. Okay. And then we go up to insert. And we are going to do an image. And generation 4, that's not where we want to be. We want to go back to more about Melvin. We want to go to generation 2, wasn't it? Melvin, nope. Nope, no. Yeah, that's right. That should be it. James Raymond, there we go. Go into Raymond. Let's take the fan chart first. Open it up. You'll see it's a little big. So you come down here and you grab this. You move it over here. And you'll see that it'll show up over here. Move that up towards the top. Move it up towards the top. There we are. Now this here chart, you can locate it there. See that point there? And there's the anchor for it. And maybe a little bit bigger. I can bring it over to about there. Okay. And now let's go insert, image, relationship, open. And first thing we want to do is move it over to the side. And the second thing we want to do is find it in relationship to the other one. Oh, it kind of killed the other one, didn't it? All righty. This is one of the things that you run into every once in a while. Okay, go up there, insert image. It somehow or another will wipe out the other one. And now I've got both of them. This one I want to be over there. And size it about like that. Oh, and you want to view this as a web view. If you don't do that, I still have problems with the formatting. So I could use your help there. One of those proofreading things, comment things on how to format this so it stays together. Okay. So at this point, I put in the outline. So the outline is I don't necessarily use all this. I use this bigger cursor so you guys can see it. And I have to remember where the location is for where the cursor is in a document. It makes life interesting sometimes. Okay, so we are there. So we can start doing details. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'm going to do details, and I'm going to do it the DD file. And because he has a DD file, not everybody has a DD file. So we go back to this, and we come back over here. Where are we, DD? Okay, there we are. Open that up. And I'm going to open DD. And I'm going to have a bunch of files open. Okay. And okay, and it's November 1952. He's a recruit in Oklahoma City. So I will take that and bring that over here. And under DT, under that, I will put in the paste unformatted text. And I will put that he was a recruit. I'm going to say join. Okay, now I'm not going to bore you with it. This is where I'm going to stop. Basically, I'm going to take all of these items and put them in there. So I'm going to leave you for now, and then I'll come back when I do the ships, start putting the ship information in there. And what was my steps? The earliest, oh, wait a minute, we're there. We have built the personal record. So we're down to my step 6, which Fruits Magic, I did that. I pasted that in there. Now I'm building the detailed data at this point, which is step 8 on my handout. That'll be attached to this. I will also put Zotero data in there. Probably not show you that. And then the ship's histories, I've got that down to show it to you. because the Soltero data is going to be identical to what I'm doing now, and it's also going to be the research data. And then I'll show you how to add photographs, and then I'll do the AI summary, and then I'll do additional research. So for right now, I need to stop sharing, and I need to come over here and end. Hello, this is Robert Pultz, and I'm back. And I'm going to try and do this in one more video segment. So let's see, we should be sharing the screen, and it looks like you're getting process continued, and we ended right here where we were doing putting the detailed data in. Okay. So I've been off for a couple hours doing that. And but when I looked around, I said, there's something I forgot to do. And what I forgot to do is show you how to do this. Okay, so this was the main page, and we put James Raymond McDonald in here. I've got all this stuff fixed out. I'll probably fill this in later on, but I don't think that you care about that right now. Okay, so now we need to take and make it a hot link so that will take and function and go over where we want it to. And you do that easily. You do this, and you come to his page here, and this is that HTML we've been working on. You double click on that. It brings it up in your browser. Haha, it works, right? See? Then you copy this link, and you come back to here. You go to here, and you go James Ray, and you say insert hyperlink. Get rid of that. Put this in, and say OK. Now you want to file save that. Now let's go back to here. Let's go back to here. This is the index for that one we just worked on. I'm going to go click, and it's got all this information in there. And George Francis Kern. And there's for James Raymond McDonald. Let's see what happens when we click that. Look at that. We're going to the James Raymond McDonald page. While we're here, and before I shut this all down, I wanted to show you the rest of this. We got as far as Harry Beverly Pultz Sr. and Clyde Owen Pultz. John R. Riley, he's a Rough Rider, and I just found him recently. I was telling the class about that. That's how we got into this. Mathis Geiser. Here's my fifth generation is James Stewart Kennedy. He was a lieutenant in the Civil War. He met Lincoln 3 times, I think. Edward Kennedy, he's in the War of 1812. I haven't found any Generation 7 people yet. Should be like anything between the War of 1812 to the Spanish-American War. So there may be some Indian fighters in there. We were out there in that area. Here's my Generation 8 Revolutionary War in 1812 relatives. I haven't built anything for them. Their links are not hot yet. And then here's the Generation 9, and they're all Revolutionary War. I have people up in, 7th generation might be right, that fought in wars in Germany for the German principalities. I haven't put them in yet. And was thinking the other day, I have more people that I can put in here. So anyway, it works. Like I said, there it is. James Raymond Kennedy. McDonald, I'm sorry. Second Kennedy. And McKinley. William McKinley McDonald. Interesting guy. We're still looking for data. So this is where the file is right now. I might as well show it to you. So we did this. So you got one down. I took the rest of that HTML file I did in 2020, and I digitized it into this, or copied and pasted, or whatever you want. I like this, No Rock College Harper Division. Okay. I went ahead and entered the stuff for the ships, and you'll notice that one of the things I found is that the Essex, USS Estes, was in operating in the Marshall Islands for the weapon test, and that was the nuclear test. So my hypothesis appears to have been wrong that I put in the family stories, and he appears to have been in the Marshall Islands on the Estes, and he was on this ship, and he was there at this time frame. So it's a good possibility that that's what he's talking about. Now, there's no record of the Estes being having to being radiated, but since they were going in and out of a radiated area, that could have explained why he felt he was exposed. And they had to take showers. Extra showers was the thing he kept talking about. We had to take 2 or 3 showers a day. And the dust that was coming down from the test out there probably settled on the ship, and that was probably the reason why they were taking the showers. So probably didn't receive any information there. So I did all this while I was gone. It was 3 hours, 2 hours. I also walked 7,000 steps then too. So here's the various ships that he was on. And then I did additional research. So I need to show you, getting back to our plan here. By the way, I brought additional research up here. I had it down below earlier. So I need to show you how I put the ship and operation histories using links stored in Zotero. Yeah, they're all in Zotero, although the one I'm about to do is not. So I need to open Zotero down there and go on. And where is it? 00. There you are, James. Okay, I'm gonna hook up James. All right. So when I was looking at this, go back to this. I noticed that shellbacks are in there. Now, I know what they are, but I bet a lot of people don't. So let's take that, say copy. And this is the same way you would have done a ship. Put it in here. Let's go up here to Google. Put it in there. Okay, you get a lot of stuff, but what you want is the Navy shellbacks. So that's this one right here. Okay, and this is a proud naval tradition. So I'm going to come up here and click on this, and I'm gonna, you can see it came in right there. I'm going to say search shellbacks. Proud Navy tradition. So that puts that in his file, his research file. So if I get there or somebody else gets there, they've got a URL to go look at the Proud Navy condition. Okay, now what I want to do now is put this into this document so that when I take and have all the detail and I move it over into ChatGPT, ChatGPT will know what shellbacks are. I know it knows it, but it needs to be told again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shellbacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now let's go back to here. And shellback's a proud Navy tradition. Salty Dog School 2020. So I'm going to take all this here. And I would do the same thing on the ship. I'd choose the years that I knew he was on the ship and pull it down to here. Control C. Move it back to here and put it in there. Unformatted text. Okay. Alrighty. Now I want to take and do some research. Okay. So let's see the shellback ceremony. Let's take shellbacks and let's put it down here and the research further. Supposing one of my grandchildren wants to take and do that. So we put shellbacks there. Now then, let's go back over here. We have this URL. Copy that. Come back to here. To here. Put on shellbacks. And say insert hyperlink and Control V. I can put it in there and say OK. Now let's save that. And let's go back to here. Let's go back to this. And let's reload it. And go down here and check the shellbacks. And see that goes straight to the count for shellbacks. Okay. Simple as pie. Okay, so now we have the shellbacks in there. I've shown you how to do that. I've shown you how to take, and here's the information from the shellbacks that I put in there. And put it up here. Okay, and so I've got all that in there. I didn't read the shellback stuff, so I don't know how good it is, so we'll figure that out. Okay, so according to our chart, we can take and do additional, and then we can select and add photographs. I'm going to hold off on that to the end. I'm going to go now to using AI to generate a summary. Okay, so let's go here. I keep a log of the information of my AI queries. And so this is from Thomas MacEntee again. This is how he set it up for doing it. I put the target audience and I need to put the right person in here. So let's go back. Yeah, well, let's just do this. Let's do this. He's nice and neat over here. Well, we'll do it this way then. Be difficult. Okay. What am I doing now? Lost track of it. Oh. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. James Raymond McDonald. Take that. I cheat a lot. I don't like delete. You can see what I used this for the last time. Oops. I'm not happy with that. I don't know how ChatGPT will take that. Pay special. All right. I cleaned everything up. Military provided timeline of service at the end of the text. Rewrite 14th May. This is going to be the 24th of May. So I haven't done much lately, have I? Okay, so, and then I ask it to rewrite the text and engaging prompt with my notes below. Chat OpenGI accessed on 2024. Okay, I've asked for a timeline. I've asked for the military history. And I did this. Okay, now what am I going to feed it in for data? All right, let's go back to this here. And all the way up to top up here. And I'm going to take everything all the way down to the bottom, including the shellbacks. And let's put that into this document so I have a copy of it. And then let's go up. I got a lot of documents in here. So I went too far. These are all my searches. Reason why I know he's shellbacks are known to the. Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. Amphibious New Zealand. Okay. There it is. Copy that. Okay. Control C. Now we come over here to Chat GPT. Brought it up a while ago, so I had it here. And I say Control V. Rewrite in engaging style. Message is too long. It doesn't like that message. All righty. Well, like I said, I try to show you my errors. That's the first time ChatGPT has said that. Oh, let's see how much it's got. Okay, let's take these things out for sure. Okay. Okay, let's take this out. Additional research. Okay, it still says message is too long. Let's take some of this shellback stuff out. Okay, there we go. So we got some of the shellback stuff in there plus that. So we go click and let's see how fast it is. Okay, it still doesn't like it, huh? Well, life is that away sometimes. Okay, let's go back down here at the bottom. And here's the shellback stuff. Uh, and okay, let's go do that. That's going to make it a difficult count. Well, let's see. Let's get rid of all this stuff. I am in the right one. Yep. Delete that. Let's see if I can get my shellback backs, put it over. Let's take that out. I think there's enough information up there. Well, I know, for instance, that I know that it knows what the shellbacks are because this is my second shellback. So, come on. Alrighty, let's see if she'll do it. I've never had ChatGPT tell me that I was too long. I put a 54-page document in there at one time. I could probably put this in as a document. Okay, there's the assets. Let's see what it does with. Okay, here we go. Rewrite. Shift. Say copy. Let's go see if it's going to let me do it. Ask anything. Your message submitted is too long. Reload the conversation. Produce something shorter. Well. Ask it to retry. Can I help you today? Nope. All righty. So let's go back. We're going to show you how to do this. I'm going to take this, the DOD files, and some of the ESSEC stuff. Where's that highlighted piece in the Essex? And let's see. Normally I go through and sort this out by dates. And I didn't do that because I'm working with you guys and I'm trying to make it fast. So, okay, I'm going to take and do just right there. Just take the Essex stuff. Copy. Now let's see if it'll take that. All right, there's the summary. Okay. I said, sure now. Okay. Okay, then I just take that. I'm not going to worry about editing it right now. Need to get this because this is the copy. And I come down here and take this, go to this page, go up here to the top. It's faster to do it this way. Pick up the summary there, across the summary. And that's how I do it. I generally take these two. Well, come on. Behave, mouse. Come on. It's trying to be difficult today. It's running up the other displays. Okay. And so we've got this up here. So all we got left now is to put the photographs in. And let's get these out. I'm taking all the spaces out. I'll do all types of formatting with this before I get through. Okay, it didn't put as much stuff in there about the other ships, and it didn't do much about Antarctica. So I don't like that as much as I would have liked it if it had done a better job on it. Okay, but for purposes of demonstrating this to you, I'm going to take it down here, and we're going to do photographs now. Now, I put a little note in here that in the main folder that contains links to several photographs of Operation Deep Freeze. I was able to find on the National Archives a lot of pictures of Operation Deep Freeze, one of which I'm going to put in here. Okay, first off, we're doing photographs now. Okay, let's, there we go. So this is our folder, and you'll see that I've added Operation Deep Freeze photograph, Prometheus photograph, Rock Ridge photograph, Estes photograph. There's the fan charts and the relationship charts. The USS Galveston. Here's a picture of him. That was taken out of this book, which was a 1954 book, I believe. And then here's the newsletter and with his things in there. So I'm going to take and start adding these. And so what I do is I come back up here, pick this up, and I say insert, image, and let's choose one. That'd be a good one. Open it, resize it, move it over to that side, put some more carriage returns in there so that I don't want my text to wrap because I'm going to add some more pictures. Let's choose this again. Let's move it to 7. So there we are. Okay. And I'm going to move that over to the other side. And so I'm going to take in insert. Yeah. insert. Yeah, I'm sorry, insert up here, another image. So I took that one. This one would be the next one. And that's him. There he is right there on that picture. That's where I cut it out. So I want him to be over here. I want it to be smaller. That'll do for now. And then about right here, I want to take an insert, an image. And right now, I'd like to take and put the deep freeze picture in there. So that needs to go over on this side. And I think that would look good. All this is whatever your aesthetics feel like. So that's 1, 2, 3. And let's put in one ship and then I'll stop there. Insert image. Let's put in, where's Essex? There we go. Okay. Okay, this I want over there. And where is that? The anchor for this is right here. Oops. Got to get the anchor where I want it. I want it right there. And did I bring it over? There we go. So I have a ship. I have I have him. I have a ship. Now I have stuff. I'm not real good at formatting this yet. So if anybody's got any advice or URLs to send me to, or YouTubes or something, but I think that's kind of representative right now. Let's do a file save. All right, now let's get out of this program. Let's get out of this program. Let's get out of this program. Let's get out of it. Well, this is what I want to do. So, indexed military. Okay, so reload. Okay, and let's go down here to Raymond Francis McDonald. There we go. And this is what we've done today. We did the fan chart. We did the relationship chart. We have this summary. And let's see, I want to check my notes to make sure I've done it in HTML. Okay, I did that. Okay, I did that too. Okay, I did all the things. I don't know. This is the timeline of James. This is how it comes up. You saw how what you see is not necessarily what you get. Rewrite text in the engaging style prompt with my notes below. ChatGPT, OpenAI, accessed on the 24th of May. ChatGPT, OpenAI. Here's the files. These are the details that I input. I'll probably rerun this again when I take and go through and edit out some of the stuff that's not necessarily his time frame there. I didn't have the when I was doing all the cut and pastes for the ships, I didn't have the benefit of all of this. And now I've got it, so I will start throwing it down. So there's a title that needs to be centered, and here's a title that needs to be centered, and there's a bunch of blank spots. So things that I can trim up, but basically that's how I do it. It's there, and I can see it, and the kids can go to it. They get this on a stick memory, and the grandkids get this on a stick memory, along with all my research. Like I said, I'm future proofing. I've got 6 people that get the stick memories every year, and they'll be getting this And since they asked the questions, I have some feeling that some of this will be continued. There's the pictures, good representative sample of the pictures. Here's the research, and say I want to take and do that. I click that, and it goes to the Estes. You can read the information. You can take, okay, here's the Newport News. I didn't put a picture of it in there. It's a battleship. Heavy cruiser. Okay. Looked like a battleship with all those guns. Anyway, he was on the Newport News for a while, the Rock Bridge. Most of the ships he was on were maintenance type ships. Seems to be true of the family. Dee's father was on the USS Hector, and that was a repair ship in the Pacific. So, anyway, there's Operation Deep Freeze. Here's the ship that brought him back from there. Here's where I get the photographs that I used on it. This is a good site, navysource.org. And I think I took a picture down here towards the bottom. I usually choose a picture that looks best. Something like that is the picture that I chose for it. So all the pictures, all the JPEGs have to be in the same folder with the HTML. Here's that shellback page we just built. We just did that. Here's the Estes. This is the association page. This had a lot of information on it. That may have been went through it pretty hard. But this had more detail. Generally, I find the association pages are more detailed than either the Wikipedia or the Navy pages. Don't know why that is, but that's the way it works out. So anyway, that's what we're trying to achieve. I think this is a good way of showing the people, showing the history of the unit. Details are kind of long on this one. Normally the details don't get quite this long. He was on a lot of ships. I didn't count up how many, but he was on a lot of ships and he was on a lot of programs. And he was progressing his way through the Navy. So anyway, he got a Bronze Star. And, he was a shellback. Like I said, I have 2 shellbacks. So anyway, it's kind of the things they were doing. And it does a really good job, I think, of writing the summary. All righty. Now we did that. While we're here, I'm going to go ahead and do Gemini. So let's go back to this page. And let's take it all and see if Gemini will take it all. So let's see what Google will do. Okay. Well, I cut that one off, so I don't have access to it again. I'm not going to rebuild it. Okay, let's see what Gemini does. Gemini had no problems with how long that was. That's interesting. One reason why I dropped one of the AIs was that it had a problem. Okay. Okay, I can help you from Oklahoma. Okay. Now that's kind of, I feel like Gemini has a level of increased sophistication over ChatGPT. This is got a little bit more in it and than the other did because it would take it. This is a better review, maybe because it has more data. It's picked up a lot. Well, this was not in my list. It's a staging area for Operation Deep Freeze. I didn't know that. Must have been buried in there someplace. So he had an interesting uh, uh, time. So let's go put that in there. I'm going to put them both in there. So they're both in there for a while. Let's put it right here. I like it better. Oh, oh, it was all centered. Well, that's okay for now. Let's uncenter it. Move it over to the left. Okay. And we want this Gemini. And we want this to be this. Oh, that was worthwhile. Da, 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 da. That looks good. I don't know. I don't think Gemini is open access. Okay. So let's go through. Let's look at that in really close. That's got more data in it. It would take it. And what I find is a lot of these things don't take a lot of data. And that's becoming a problem for me. You'll see that when I set up the searches. I have not used Gemini for the searches. I will take then do that tomorrow. But for the U.S. Navy training familiar ground. Okay. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Why don't you put something in the comments and tell me what you think of this one? I'm going to walk through it slowly. This is Gemini. Okay. So there's what they found, the data that we put together. And this is what we came down with. Okay. And then this is the second one. This is Chat GPT. And so far, I haven't seen any glaring errors in here, but I haven't sat down and looked at this. I'm more interested in producing this video right now than I am in accuracy right now. So I got to go through this thing and clean it up some. But I think I covered what you wanted, which was how did I do this and how did I put the stuff in here. And so this is the file that some of the information that I gave it. So that's real slow. Be sure and save everything. You don't want to lose it now. That's it, guys. As far as I can tell, I've covered everything that you asked me to cover, and I hope that you have some success with it. I'll be interested in seeing what you do with it. So, like I said, in May of each year, I try to do a military project. All righty. I got to get over to that page, that screen. Have a good day, and thank you for visiting me.